Hey guys, it's Mike here today from Mark Bros Firearms Channel, and today we're going to be talking about CZ P-07. Let's do a little bit of shooting with it. So this is CZ's polymer frame line. They've introduced a couple here in the past couple years. The P-07, P-09, P-10C, which we have a video on as well. The cool thing about this is it retains the CZ75 features and is actually genuinely a true CZ75 but with a polymer frame. So it is a new introduction. It's kind of old now, it's been a couple years since it got out, but it's got a lot of features. Some of these things that it includes is you're going to get luminescent steel sights right out of the box, which is awesome. These sights are really cool, and again, like I said, they're luminescent. They're not tritium, so they'll light up if you charge them up with a light source. For example, if I was to take my flashlight, they'll glow. It's a little hard to see in the daytime, but when charged with light, they will glow at night. It only lasts for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, but it's better than just having standard white dot sights. You're also getting the standard CZ75 staple, which is the slide actually riding inside of the frame versus on the outside of the frame. It does give you a lower bore axis on this hammer-fired gun here. You're also going to get a nice polymer frame with a 1913 Picatinny rail up front for all your lights and lasers or different accessories you'd like to mount. You get a super enlarged slide release or slide stop here, whatever you'd like to call it. Does both, so I don't really have a preferred term for it, but it's a decocker on both sides. You can also have the option to switch it out for a safety, but we've opted for the decocker because we're not manual safety advocates, so that's why we have it here, so you can carry it cock lock and then put it into that half cock position. Mag release is pretty big. This is only one-sided again. This gun is non-ambi, it's slick on this side. But you do have interchangeable back straps here, which is pretty nice, and you do have a place for a lanyard if you're into that kind of stuff. What's nice is this does retain the beaver tail. A lot of polymer guns are going away from that, and I personally like a beaver tail. It lets me get as high as I can up on the gun without actually hurting myself. And on a hammer-fired gun, it's pretty important to do so. So yeah, trigger's pretty good on it, but let's do a little bit more shooting. Try to race it on that steel plate a little bit. Do a little bit of plinking here. So, pretty sweet. She's all nice and hot now, but okay guys, so we're going to do just a little showcasing of the actual box that the P-07 comes with. I just wanted to show you a little feature about the box and what comes in it realistically. So when you're opening up a CZ box, one thing that you need to know is when you unclip these two clamps, there's also a button you have to depress in the center here, which will allow you to release the case. If you don't press that, you'll just be tugging on it. Most people actually break this little latch off because they don't know about it. So it's kind of important there. It doesn't really make a huge deal, but it's nice to preserve the case. So this is laid out really nice. It comes with a bunch of different stuff. You get your barrel brush. You get another piece to run patches through your barrel. Those are all located down here by the handle. You get an extra magazine. This one has a base plate on it, extended base plate. This actually gives you 2 extra rounds, so this will be a 17-round magazine. The standard capacity magazines are only 15 rounds on this specific platform. So you do get 2 base plates included to make both those magazines capable of having a 17-round capacity. Up top here, you get stuff like your decocker, safety, whatever it comes in the configuration will be what's up there. and then you get the target from the factory, the all that kind of stuff, easy catalog, your receipt, all that crap. So the gun itself, just want to take it out and give you guys a quick demonstration on how to take the gun down. Shut the case and get it out of the way here. So to take this gun down, it's not a super simple process, but it's fairly easy. We'll go ahead and just drop the magazine. I'm going to pull the hammer back. Most people like it at half cock, which is okay. You can still line up these lines. There's one notch in the frame and there's one notch in the slide. You have to line them up. And then when you do that on the other side of the gun here, basically you can just realistically put it back to half cock. There's a little thing here. You're going to take the corner of your magazine and just push it out. You can put it right in the corner there and it should pop right out that way. So now it's open on this side. You can just pry it on out. Make sure those are still lined up. It's kind of a tough three-handed ordeal. Sometimes I like to also just take that back a little easier. Makes it a little easier on the slide there. Oh, damn. There we go. Just got to really give it a little bit of pressure. So it comes right out. From here you can let your hammer fall and your slide will come right off the rails. It is weird because this is a very small slide. It rides inside the rails of the gun on the frame. As you can see there. It's kind of a pretty beefy frame. It's very interesting. So take down even further, take out your recoil spring, and then here's your barrel. And it's a pretty beefy barrel. They're very tiny little locking lugs on that, but which is actually pretty interesting because the P-10 has huge ones. The P-10C from CZ has huge ones, but this ones are kind of tiny. So I'm not really sure what that's about. But then you're just gonna take your barrel, rotate it back up in, take your recoil spring, push it in and rock it back up on to sit right there on the barrel. You're gonna actually have to run your slide rails all the way through to the rear there. Pull your hammer back. You're gonna pull back to line up the notches in the frame. You're gonna take this and put it in there. Let it slide all the way through and give it a nice tap and it goes right back to normal. So now you can check for function. Everything seems pretty good. Decocker. Okay. So that's just a very simple field strip for your P-07 to do, regular maintenance and stuff. Some of the other features that I didn't really talk about is some of the texturing. You do have texturing for an index point if you're right-handed or if you're left-handed. Up top here, it's very textured. And then also to rest your thumb with your standard grip, which, again, either way. So it's on both sides of the gun, whichever way you hold the gun. It's pretty nice. And it's also serrated up front here on the trigger guard, just in case you tend to have that kind of grip where you go up towards the trigger guard. I don't really personally advocate that, but some people do, and it gives you a little bit of traction there. So yeah, that's just some of the small features that we kind of wanted to cover with you guys on this P-07. Alright, so you guys have seen us doing a lot of shooting with this gun. What I wanted to do is just a little bit of double action shooting. So we're going to chamber the gun here and then decock the gun, making it as if we were to draw it from a holster. I don't have a holster for it specifically because it's our cameraman's gun and he's a left-handed shooter. I'm a right-handed shooter with handguns. So nothing that I can use, but it's to simulate, if you were to draw it out of a holster. We'll just start from like a low ready. It's got a pretty smooth double action there. The take-up on it is pretty nice. I'd say so. It's definitely one of those things that you could do, bringing it out of the holster. It's not like it's a hindrance to you at all. It's very light, very smooth double action pull. Try on one of those smaller plates. Just a little low. One's a little bit bit harder to hear as it rings since it's stationary on the ground there. But yeah, overall it's a pretty consistent, pretty smooth double action. I mean, there's not much to it there. Also, just a note to you guys, dry firing these guns is something you probably don't want to do. It'll chew a hole in the firing pin, retaining pin. It's 2 pins. And it's a quick fix. You just get the Cajun Works one and it'll solve all your problems. But if you have the ability to, use snap caps with this gun. It's really not good to dry fire most hammer fired guns, but especially this one. So we wanted to do just a demonstration of the trigger and the way that it breaks and its reset. So we do have with us a snap cap today because of the specific reason that we don't want to have any more damage to this retaining pin for the firing pin. We're going to insert the magazine, chamber up that snap cap, and we'll show you guys here the trigger real quick. So the trigger in single action is very nice. It's got a little bit of a take up, obviously, and then you get to a wall of pressure, so a little bit of creep towards it, and then it has a really good solid break. So what's nice about this gun also is you have front serrations, so allows me to do a press check, recock the gun. It's very easy to access that in that manner. So these are awesome, and they're very, very deep, just like the rears. So you're never going to really slip off of them. So I'll give you an example one more time of that single action break. So the take up, slight bit of creep, and then it breaks. And it's very repeatable. If you notice, it's a very systematic approach to each trigger pull. On double action, it's pretty nice. You get quite a bit of weight, but once you take it up, you hit that wall, it really is just force until it breaks. So the double action is pretty nice on it. It's not crazy good, but it's super smooth and it has a pretty good weight to it, so you're not going to accidentally discharge this gun. So let's go ahead and show you the reset on it. So we're going to go ahead and just cock the gun to reset that there. So it's pretty far forward, but it's very tactile, and it's definitely audible. So and it's actually not as far as you think it would be. So it's very nice to ride the reset in. And once you hit that reset, there's just that little jolt of take up, and then it pretty much breaks from there. So yeah, that's nice. The one other thing that I really do like about this gun is that it has a cold hammer forged barrel. These barrels are very durable. They're rated for a high round count. So definitely look at picking one of these up as an option for a polymer framed handgun, especially if you're looking for something so striker fired, a newer age gun with that, hammer fired with that hammer fired reliability. You can really put a lot of rounds downrange and rely on this gun. So I'm just going to do a little bit of running in the gun with this. It's really just a simple drill. It's called the compass drill. So realistically, if you were going to use this with a handgun, you'd want to reholster every time. I'm going to manipulate my weapon as if I was moving through obstacles, through crowds, to try not to muzzle people. So I'll change my carry or index point as I reflect, different obstacles and stuff. But we're just going to move in a compass style fashion, around and make a shot at every position. So there's 4 points, one being to the right of me, one being in front, one to the left, and then one back at this position where I'm standing. Every time I make a position, I'm going to take a shot, move at a specific carry position, and then keep going. This is really just to practice maneuvering with your gun and practicing different carry positions. So we'll start out with a double action pull, as if we drew from carry. So you kind of get the idea. You can maneuver that compass drill in a multitude of ways. You don't really have to go in a circle, but that's what I prefer. It's a little bit easier. So you can throw in all kinds of variables there. You can use a rifle, transitions. It's kind of different.